Hello Gemini, I'm here with your monthly reading. Okay, so we got this set up for general. Okay, your general advice for the month of June. That's how it works. Wherever you feel necessary to apply it, hey, I like using examples. My examples don't necessarily have to be yours, and then they could be. But I'm just telling you I like using examples when I'm reading the energy and the tarot cards as a combination of two. For example, Gemini, let's go ahead and say hello, happy birthday, all that good stuff for you, right? And let's go ahead and say your focus, or the focus for the month of June, is awakening for you. Now, I already read the card next to it. This is my madness, okay? I read the card next to it. So let's get that one out too. We have peacock and we have vibrance. You were born to shine and inspire. Practice humility to avoid jealousy. Be grateful for life and more good things will come. Be true to yourself and recognize your brilliance. That's good for awakening. Let's go to the next card because I read this one too. We have dragonfly mermaid. You attracted wonderful news. So let's talk about the commonality. First we got awakening. This is the whole central theme. So with an awakening, it seems like you're going to have a situation when we're talking about peacock and vibrance. You're going to have a situation where competitiveness is the hole in the donut. Now the whole donut is awakening, but the donut comes with a hole, and that's going to be your peacock and vibrance. Now, the glaze or the type of donut you got, chocolate, lemon, strawberry, cream, whatever it might be. Your desire, your actions to achieve that donut dictates your disappointment. It dictates it. You chose the place, or did somebody give you advice? You always go to this place. Did it change up? Maybe donut ain't the right word, but it's my example. So now, let's go backwards. And let's go back to the front of the beginning of this saga. So Gemini, you is not going through a awakening. Awakening to me has got taken out of context. It got taken out of context so much that I don't know what you believe on awakening, but I'm going to describe what this energy means. This energy means that you already face your fear. And it's a fear that you either conscious of or you're not conscious of. But this fear is on your path line of prosperity. Now, prosperity in your path line, do you only classify money as prosperity? Do you classify health as only prosperity? Do you call mental health as only prosperity? Do you call your goal being accomplished prosperity? Do you call amending your wishes and your desires to accommodate a new wish or desire or offer that has came upon you? What is prosperity? Now, understanding this prosperity, there's two forms of definitely prosperity. That's the one that you believe, and the other one is the one that the truest definition of prosperity. That's beyond man, beyond human translation, meaning, arguments, debates, and everything else that we do down here to determine what prosperity means. So there's two. But right now, as far as the general energy goes, on this awakening, it don't mean that you're going to awaken to two. It does mean that in this path line, these two is intertwining with each other. And you're going to have a reaction once you bring these two to the end of the knot. You're going to create a knot to make it one line in this month, one way or another. So let's get into tarot cards for your awakening. You alright? So let's get 4 cards, okay? So, first of all, you got all major arcanas. So let me tell you, as far as this awakening, that means that the anomaly is coming from somewhere high above. That means from this anomaly, I can't put my finger on it, whether it's from a past life or this life or not. But what I can tell you about this anomaly is it is going to entwine. And like I said, your job is to put the knot in it. Now, the knot that you're going to put in it is a locator. It's evidence. It's going into the file cabinet. It's a justification. It's a memory. It's something that's staining. It's something that's going to be fixed. Is fixed in your conscious mind and subconscious. And these two has merged in agreement that this information during this month is imperative and does not need to be deleted. It needed to be held in the archives of your memory bank. And that is the ultimate goal of it. Why do I say that? You have the Star card, you have Judgment, you have the Lovers, you have the World card. Now, don't get me wrong, from an astrological perspective, because I have been doing readings, one, Gemini is very involved in the astrological process. So, being that Gemini is extra involved, that means you could be extremely nosy. You could be wanting to be, your extremes this month could heighten up. You could justify it on a mental health. It doesn't matter. You going to justify your behavior throughout this month. Justification going to happen whether you with your kids, whether you with your family, whether you with solo, with somebody you kicking it with, whether you got a OnlyFans job and you got a contract with a service to help you out to make sure you protect it or you get your money right. That means even like whoever, however way you set your account up, it doesn't matter whatever you're doing. This month, justifications is important. For example, your justification could be on the flip side. You could be working for OnlyFans, right? And something goes wrong with a payment. And you're trying to figure out what then went wrong with this payment. The justification is going to come about. You're going to settle for it because this situation is very new. So it don't even really matter. But it is going to matter while you in the moment of the situation. But at the end of the day, that justification needed to happen. That's going to be something that's going to sting. It's going to be something that you remember. How you remember it, how conscious you stay on it, what lesson you learn about it, all going to be archived. It's very important in this way. Once again, the energy higher, above, beyond is affecting you. It's going to be affecting you because on the social media platforms, everybody talking about Gemini. There's a solar eclipse. So, being that we energetic beings, people's stories that's coming out on media is going to affect you. It's going to affect you whether you have people socializing that do it, don't do it, whether they come to you and they're not into tarot, but they can still talk about the zodiac signs, whether they saw it on the news about the solar eclipse, all of this good stuff. It doesn't matter. Period. Zip zada. At all. You is going to be justifying your behavior. The thing of your justification, which I'm about to get to as far as the peacock and vibrance. Let's get to it. But I'm pretty sure of some things. But let's get to it. We need to make sure that I'm reading this energy right. Let's get into 4 cards for the peacock and vibrance. One more card. So, what it has came out is the Page of Wands, the 8 of Wands, the 10 of Cups, and the 4 of Swords. Let's first start off with this Page of Wands and this 8 of Wands. When I was trying to tell you about the justifications, this is the whole thing about the justifications. If you already, for example, if you already around certain people that think you immature, you got these negative attributes. They like to remind you, or they like to complain about it in a way of reminding you. You might know how to brush it off. You might still want to associate with them for whatever reason. Okay, Gemini, back. Appreciate it. You know, just showing respect, even though, you know, you didn't feel the pausation of me disappearing. So let's get back into it. Alright. So, like I was saying, I was talking about the Page of Wands and the 8 of Wands, right? And this is what I was talking about this justification thing. You know, this attitude, this is just the best word that I could really fill in the blanks with. I mean, it's probably, I know for a fact, excuse me, I hit the camera, but I know for a fact, because the dictionary is very popular and very thick, and there's so many of them, so I know it could be more than one word. Whatever way, code word might be coming up for you, that's relatable, is what's up. So the next 2 cards that actually came out is the 10 of Cups, the 10 of Cups, and the 4 of Swords, right? Now, this is basically, I feel like in the vibration, is Gemini, you could have a real chameleon type of effect. You have a way to adjust to your environment, fake it to make it, whatever the right term for it is. But you have this costume type of effect about you or if you don't know about it, or it could be read from other ways, like I was talking about. If you got people that's complaining around you, this could be something that they complain about, but they use it and talk about it in a different term that I'm talking about it in. And this attribute, or whatever way it is all about the vibration. It's important during this justification period that you justify it on the right frequency and vibration. That is what's coming up. Okay? It's all about that proper frequency and vibration. So, when you think of a peacock, what is something that comes to you for a peacock? This is a code term that the subconscious in your mind already know about. Could branch off into me talking about your spirit guides, entities, deities, and so forth and so on. There's so many names for things, right? So, a peacock, you might recognize the animal, but sometimes, since colors is a constant frequency, right? It helps transition the vibrations. You might want to pay attention, because colors and vibrations is going to be a nice little kid xylophone for you during this month to help you out with your justifications. And what I mean by that is I can't say it's all about protection or not protection. Whatever is the situation is supposed to come about is going to happen. If you have the strength and the courage to avoid anything of unnecessary, then I advise you to use that. If you choose to be in a vibration where things could escalate, and you know they could escalate, and you choose to be there, well, that is still, both of them is still choices, but the consequences is what they are. They both could end good, and they both could end bad. It's just based on the way that you see good and bad in this situation. What is that benefit for you? Okay? So let's go over here to Dragon Mermaid. Dragonfly Mermaid. And like I said, the Dragonfly Mermaid is leading me, I already reviewed the cards ahead of time. So I feel I have been great in the flow of it. So this is, it said you attracted wonderful news. So let's see the message that's coming with the Dragonfly Mermaid, to see what is the combination of all of this, what's in common between Awakening and Peacock that brings about. So right now, one thing we got in common is the Ten of Cups. So the Ten of Cups is in common with the Peacock. 3 more cards. We have the Four of Swords. That's also in common. Two more cards. We need to get 2 more cards out. Okay. We have the Knight of Wands. And this is too many cards, so I need 1 more card. We have the Hierophant, okay? So, the Hierophant is representing the awakening period, right? And the Knight of Wands. That's the connection to the awakening part. What you had over here, the Star card, the Judgment card, the Lovers, and the World. And if you really look at it, a lot of these are council type cards, except the Star. The Star is more of a fantasy card. The Lover's Judgment in the World card is more authoritarian when I mean counsel, okay? Not a counselor, alright, but a counsel. So the Judgment in the Lovers in the World card is, yeah, they all about that authoritarian, where the Star card is a little bit less and more personal. That's why I say fantasy-wise. Which, the Knight of Wands will be the Star card here, okay? So, it's saying that basically with the Knight of Wands and the Hierophant, right? It's almost saying here's a situation, here's a lesson on manifestation. And it's almost like you have to unravel the ingredients, because it seemed like a backwards thing, meaning the manifestation has already happened, but how did it happen? And that is the thing with you. So I guess that's where the justification's coming in, because if you're going to try to discover the how in the manifestation that already has occurred, right? The how is the justifications. That's going to be a very important component that's up in there, because you don't have proof. It's almost like the saying, which one came first, the chicken or the egg? And that's where this at. So you need justifications, because we're going to justify and say, well, the chicken had to come first. And then some going to say, no, the egg had to come first because the chicken came out of the egg. But then who put the egg there? So, and then the chicken having the egg, it still goes back to, well, who bought the chicken? Where did the chicken come from? So the egg or the chicken, either way it goes, you're going to sit here and figure out. But in the conversation point of it, we still justifying it. It's still entertaining for us to have that conversation. And that's where it's all at. You know, that Hierophant is, you know, because chicken and the egg is very foundational, right? Yes. So it's a petty conversation with the Knight of Wands, but it's a stimulating one that necessarily don't cause controversy, but can cause controversy with the Knight of Wands, right? And that's where the Star and the Judgment is at, because it could be something very simple and not so complex, but the attitudes could come in, right? And then you have the Lovers in the World card being all about the congregation, the community, and everything from that angle that's involved with just the saying I got. So now let's go back to the first two cards that came out, which is the Ten of Cups and the Four of Swords. Once again, you ended with the Ten of Cups and the Four of Swords on your peacock. So here we go. Right here, the metamorphosis is this Ten of Cups. And this Ten of Cups with the Four of Swords is how incomplete can you understand that the incompleteness is infinity, but making something complete is what you still is. Meaning, for example, you still growing and gaining wisdom, but yet you say, I am somebody. So you reference yourself in a completeness, right? But at the same time, you consciously aware you incomplete because of the growth and experiences that's yet to come while you still here. Every day could bring on the same energy, but it can shift. Or some days could stay constant, meaning say you live by yourself, right? Maybe you don't have company for 3 days in a row, but maybe out of those 3 days in a row you ain't had no company, you might have cleaned your house one day. You might have took a shower every day. You might have looked at a certain TV show on each day. So it's still changing, but it brings a sense of completeness and incompleteness with it, right? And that's the thing with this metamorphosis, okay? With this justification. It's that understanding and that capability is able to be manipulated. It definitely can be your weakness in a situation. How consciously aware of something of that nature. Or your justifications is going to be in those boundaries. So you might want to make sure that you could be able to stand your ground or be able to make your justification into something that's justified for sure and proof, especially with the Lovers in the World card. That's you being that responsible person. It is what it is. You know, the standard judgment. Okay, I went through this situation here, and now this is where it's at. Okay, that's how it was then, and this is how it is now. So it's that type of energy right there. So let's go ahead and recap all of this for the month, Gemini, right? You're going through this situation where justification is very important during this month. Justification, you could take it out of control. You could get loose with it. You could stay conscious with it and understand that you could clean up your own mess. Maybe you might be the type of person in a real life and like people to clean up behind you. So if you do and people get too far up in your business, then you're going to swing things in a balance to benefit the other opponent. So you have to really ask yourself in your justifications, who's going to hold the rabbit foot in these situations? And the only way you're going to have to be able to do that is to make sure that you recognizing the transition within the vibrational flow. Because there's going to be a constant frequency, but the vibration is going to change throughout that frequency. So, and that goes to the example of you might stay by yourself in 3 days. That is a constant frequency right there, right? But the vibrations is changing during the day. So, that's what I have for you, Gemini. All right? For the month. Good luck.